This is Tom Fox. I'm the Compliance Evangelist, and welcome to 1 month to Operationalizing Your Compliance Program. This month, I am proud to have as my sponsor, Oversight Systems. With the recently released Justice Department Evaluation of Corporate Compliance Programs, it is mandated that you must operationalize your compliance program. Oversight Systems' automated transaction monitoring solution, Insights on Demand for FCPA, provides a centralized transaction monitoring system that automatically identifies risky behavior and facilitates efficient resolution of any issues. The analytics look for behaviors or patterns of FCPA risk across expense reports and card transactions in T&E or invoices and payments in AP, and addresses 3 areas of operationalization of your compliance program. Number 1, it monitors transactions and activities for improper behavior. Number 2, allows you to perform compliance audits around travel and entertainment and procure to pay. And number 3, be able to demonstrate how policy compliance is reinforced throughout your organization. For more information, check out their website, oversightsystems.com. With the February release of the Justice Department's Evaluation of Corporate Compliance Programs, the operationalization of your compliance program is mandatory for you to receive any credit under the Department of Justice pilot program, or even going back as far as the Yates memo. If you listen to this podcast over the next month, you will have a good basis for operationalizing your compliance program. I hope you will enjoy this journey with me, and I look forward to answering any questions that you might have. This is Tom Fox. Thank you very much for listening.
Day 13, the Regional Compliance Committee. Yesterday I took a look at the Compliance Oversight Committee. Today I want to talk about another way to operationalize your compliance, which is to move oversight out into the region to supplement that of the Compliance Oversight Committee. Such an approach can more effectively ensure employee and third-party compliance with your code of conduct and compliance program throughout a global organization by integrating compliance into every aspect of your function and generating the necessary information to continuously improve your compliance program. Such a regional compliance committee can also operate on multiple planes to fully operationalize compliance in a company, augmenting existing controls and making a company more efficient and more profitable at the end of the day. The formation of a regional compliance committee works to operationalize compliance through the creation of more direct ownership, accountability, and valuable transparency of your compliance regime. This moves compliance down into all levels of a company's operation. This approach also significantly improves consistency of the compliance function and helps to ensure that all of a company's business objectives are achieved in a legally compliant fashion. Such a regional compliance committee can advise and provide information and insights to a chief compliance officer, receive compliance information from the corporate compliance function for the relevant region regarding applicable compliance requirements, industry standards, and your code of conduct, as well as other relevant information. A regional compliance committee should not have the primary responsibility for investigations, but can report up any known compliance issues to the corporate compliance department for disposition. A regional compliance committee is designed to promote clear and frequent compliance-related communications throughout the region and strengthen a company's compliance culture. It is therefore valuable to the overall performance of the corporate compliance program within the region. It allows compliance topics to be more thoroughly discussed at regularly occurring operational meetings also have communication structures designed to facilitate communication up and down the chain, allowing a CCO to have more direct set of eyes and ears closer to the ground. Finally, a regional compliance committee gives the compliance function greater visibility within the organization because compliance has moved further into the middle and lower levels of your organization on a daily basis. This truly is the operationalization of compliance. So what are some of the authorities and responsibilities that you can give to a regional compliance committee? They can include a list of the following, but please note, this list is not dispositive, and as with all things compliance, you're only limited by your imagination. Assisting and identifying not only potential legal and compliance risk in your region, but also reputational risks to your company. Establishment of goals and metrics to measure against these legal and compliance goals in the region. Exercising oversight of the implementation and effectiveness of the company's compliance function in the region. Additionally, to make recommendations to the Chief Compliance Officer and suggest improvements to the compliance practices of the region. Next, reviewing and monitoring implementation of your code of conduct in the region, assisting in the identification of best practices for compliance, alternative strategies, and local initiatives to enhance your compliance program. Assuring that the CCO and senior leaders of operations that compliance goals and requirements are both established and communicated across the region. Advise management of its assessment of the corporate compliance program, ethics and compliance risks within the region, and take steps to manage both to lessen risks. Review hotline complaints and other information to assure that appropriate steps are taken to modify the corporate compliance program to reduce identified ethics and compliance risks in the region. The formation of a regional compliance committee operationalizes compliance into a region where a business operates. This sort of approach follows the Department of Justice mandate as articulated in the evaluation of corporate compliance programs for companies to move the doing of compliance down into the business of an organization. The makeup of a regional compliance committee, which includes legal and compliance representatives, but it's also populated by representatives from other disciplines within the global organization. This allows a fuller, richer, and more holistic approach to not only compliance advice, but reviews consistent with the evaluation's mandate of a shared commitment by other functional disciplines within an organization. The Regional Compliance Committee adds a dimension not discussed nearly as often in the compliance profession as it should be. The accountability and oversight down to the regional level and the compliance monitoring, reviewing, assessing, and recommending will provide additional endorsements up through the organization that it is doing compliance, or in the words of the evaluation, operationalizing compliance. In compliance, it's a well-known maxim that's execution where the rubber meets the road. That is the functional definition of operationalizing compliance, and by creating this regional compliance committee, you really move an entire discussion, not the entire discussion, but an entire discussion around compliance down to the regional level. So what are your three key takeaways for today? Well, number one, a regional compliance committee works to more fully operationalize compliance. Number two, a regional compliance committee, properly staffed, evidences the shared commitment to compliance as set forth specifically in the evaluation of corporate compliance programs. And finally, never forget that a regional compliance committee is a two-way communications avenue, both inbound and outbound, for the Chief Compliance Officer and the company's compliance function. It allows you to communicate compliance initiatives down, but also receive information back up. And that's what, at the end of the day, you really want to have from the Chief Compliance Officer's perspective or the perspective of the compliance function. It's having more information. It's having that information go up the chain to you and allow you to evaluate that information to determine if there is a risk, a red flag, or other issue that needs to be considered. This is Tom Fox. Thank you very much for listening to Day 13, and I hope you'll join me tomorrow for Day 14 to 1 month to the operationalization of your compliance program.
This is Tom Fox, and I'd like to thank you very much for listening to today's episode of How to Operationalize Your Compliance Program. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me at tfox@tfoxlaw.com. If you've listened to this podcast via iTunes, I would greatly appreciate it if you would rate us. It would help in our rankings and help get the word out about how to learn about operationalizing your compliance program in 1 month. This is Tom Fox. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you'll join me tomorrow.